Forget the All-Star game. Can the Celtics get 4 Celtics in the Olympics? Plus, the competition is going wild. Terry Rozier goes to Miami. The Bucks fire Adrian Griffin. I'm talking about it all right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Be ever ready. Recognize the city of champs. Boston, baby, we do what you can't. Locked on number 18, Tatum and Brown, J-team, step back. We gon' wet that and slay teams. Of course the Celtics, who else could it be? Screaming like KG with the Larry O.B. Karalis above average, assessing the team status. Best daily pod, no cap, salary matching. Clutch like Bird the DJ, Pete John on replay. Prime time, dapping up the truth on the sideline. Raining J's, how it started, raising banners, how we finished. Locked on Celtics pod, home of the winners. B.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast, where it's your team every day, and I got you covered every single day, Monday through Friday, with a free, fresh podcast. It drops directly to your device if you subscribe, so open up your favorite app, subscribe, get into the YouTube page, subscribe there as well, hop into the comment section, have a conversation with fellow Celtics fans about what I'm saying, what the team is doing, all of that. Have some fun here. That's what this show is all about. I'm John Karalis. I cover the Celtics for Boston Sports Journal. I played ball a long time ago, so those are days in my past. Today, I am talking about the competition, the Milwaukee Bucks, the direct competition, firing their head coach. That's a desperation move. Terry Rozier goes to Miami. That's who the Celtics are playing next. They could be playing Terry Rozier on Thursday. I'll talk about all of that stuff. I'll get one final thought about the Dallas game. First, today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $100, $150. I'm going to make sure that's right. $150 in bonus bets, guaranteed. All you got to do is place a $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. Let's kick this show off by saying congratulations to Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Jrue Holiday, 4 Boston Celtics in the player pool for the Paris Olympics this summer. I know it's been like 20 degrees out. No one's thinking about the summer, but this summer, July, the end of July to the middle of August, the Paris Olympics will be held, and it's possible, maybe, sort of, kind of, that the Celtics could have 4 representatives. And I'm always torn when it comes to this kind of stuff because it's added stress on the body and blah, blah, blah. Not like these guys wouldn't be playing basketball anyway, right? But the competitive nature, the new rules, the competition that wants to really knock the Celtics or knock Team USA out, and that added something, that added oomph to those games, all makes me a little weary of going into international competition. That's a very American thing. Every other country would not have this qualifier when saying congratulations on representing your country. All of these other players would love to represent their country, and these guys actually would love to represent their country, and it would be great. It would be great to get these guys, hey, potentially an NBA championship and a gold medal. It would be deja vu for Jrue Holiday. Like any team that has Jrue Holiday right before the Olympics, maybe that's the key. Maybe having Holiday before an international competition is the key to winning the championship, because that's what the Bucks did. And then Team USA went out and won a gold medal a few years ago. So maybe that's the secret sauce. Maybe that's the key to trading for Jrue Holiday. So congratulations to them. I think that's a super cool honor. And to be honest, even though in the United States we do minimize that a little bit, there is it's amazingly cool to, I can imagine, I've never done it. It would be amazingly cool to actually put on a USA jersey and play for Team USA. Just thinking about it kind of gives me goosebumps. Regardless of everything, the athletic competition is a great way for everybody from different persuasions, different ideologies, different everything to kind of come together. So I think that would be cool. And I'm with Eddie House on Derek White. Derek White might not be an all-star, but he would be incredibly useful on that USA national team. So I think there's a real argument for him to make that team. We'll see. Well, it's 41 players. They got to whittle it down, but we'll see who. I'm pretty sure that Tatum will be on it. Feel good about Jaylen Brown making it. We'll see if the Celtics get any of these other guys, but Holiday knows the game. He's been through it, and Derek White is built for international competition. He just does so many things well. I do think that it would make sense for all four of those guys to play, but there's a lot of great players on that in that pool. So who knows? Moving on, I think there's one thing I neglected to mention in yesterday's podcast where I was so, I think, impressed by what the Celtics had done and what Tatum and Brown had done that I neglected to mention a key element and part of what made it the most impressive. It's that they didn't have Kristaps Porzingis, and I haven't seen an injury report because the team is not playing till Thursday, so I don't think they were required to put one out yet. I assume they're going to be at full strength Thursday in Miami, and so everybody will be there. Obviously, that's what full strength means, John. I think the Celtics doing what they did in the fourth quarter without Porzingis is a nice kind of development, a nice kind of departure from, all season long, the Celtics without Porzingis and or Derek White, which is infrequent, but without one of those guys, it felt a little clunky, right? And Jaylen and Jayson kind of running through. Yeah, it was a little grimy. I like to call it a grimy kind of fourth quarter, but getting through that and executing and not falling back into the habits of just going, I have to answer what Luka Doncic did and kind of going ISO, like super ISO. Obviously, Jaylen went ISO, but you know what I'm talking about. The trying to attack against 2-3 people to isolate their mismatch, to drive, and when players collapsed on them, to kick without having to rely on Mr. Mismatch, Kristaps Porzingis. That was really, really impressive. And I think it's worth noting. It's worth going back a day later and making sure that I hammer home that point, because the whole point of Kristaps Porzingis was to create that kind of always a mismatch on the floor with him out there, and to not get into over reliance on that. I want the Celtics to go to it and go to it often, but not to use it as a crutch, right? And there's a difference. There's a difference between hammering home the mismatch and, oh my God, our offense is lost down the stretch without this mismatch. There's a real line between that. And for the Celtics to show, hey, we're obviously Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown are super capable to show that, and to show it in a way that gets away from some of the normal crunch time stuff that's always been a little bit kind of that I loved that. I really did love that. I thought that Dallas game was a really great kind of close because of the imperfections of it. And that's the real key, right? And I've said this a million times. I want to strive towards perfection, right? We all want to have the Celtics play a perfect game. And in the NBA, that means hitting half of your shots and 40+% of your threes and 100% of your free throws, or at least 95%, as long as those 5% of the misses don't come in the fourth quarter, and to hold the defense, to have the defense hold the other team to 40% shooting and nothing from three, and never send them to the line and never turn the ball over, the impossible standard. But the reality is the games are going to be full of mistakes. The imperfections are what makes the game fun and perfect, because throughout the course of the game, whenever mistakes are made, it's how do you overcome those mistakes? Because there's always a turnover. There's always a miss. There's always something to be able to overcome that stuff and to do it in a way that's a more positive kind of progression for your two stars, to have to do it without leaning on Porzingis and having Derek White have a bad game, by the way, just impressive. Just worth noting, because even though the Mavs they're a good team, they're not a great team. They have great finishers, and I just felt like going back and hammering that point home was worth the extra 6 minutes of a podcast 2 days after the game, or a day after the game. So up next, Terry Rozier is now a member of the Miami Heat, and he may make his debut on Thursday. So that adds something. What does this mean for Miami? What does that mean for Boston? We're going to talk about that next. Today's show brought to you by Hungryroot. It's the easiest way to get fresh, high-quality food delivered to your door. They've got healthy groceries and simple recipes all in one place. There are a lot of places that want to give you food delivery. There's not a lot of options for that healthy, fresh stuff that Hungryroot can get you. So all you got to do is take a fun, short quiz at Hungryroot. They'll let you know. You give them your goals, how you like to eat, all that stuff, flavors that you like, kitchen appliances that you like to use, and then they'll keep your needs and preferences top of mind and start building a cart with delicious recipes and all your grocery needs for the week. Hungryroot recommends recipes, groceries based on your taste. They take your suggestions, or you can choose anything you want. So they've got fresh produce, high quality meats, seafood, pantry staples, healthy snacks, sweets, much more. Hungryroot goes beyond your weekly grocery haul with thousands of easy recipes that actually put your groceries to good use before they get forgotten in the back of your fridge. Food waste is the biggest pet peeve of mine, and it's so easy to happen. With these good recipes, you can actually make the food that you get so it's not wasted. And the best part is that Hungryroot follows a simple standard. It's got to taste good, be quick to make, contain whole, trusted ingredients. Spend less time meal planning, shopping, and cooking, and more time actually enjoying healthy food that you will love with Hungryroot. Right now, Hungryroot is offering all you Locked On Celtics listeners 40% off your first delivery and free veggies for life. Go to hungryroot.com/lockedon, get 40% off your first delivery and get your free veggies. That's hungryroot.com/lockedon. Don't forget to use our link. That's how they know we sent you. Today's show also brought to you by eBay. eBay Motors knows that passion, drive, and patience is what brings home the winning trophy. It's also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll find exactly what you're looking for all the time. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back, because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit is only available to U.S. customers. Thanks for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Go check out Locked On NBA. It's my day on Locked On NBA. So when you're done with this show, go to that show, because today I'll be talking a lot more about what I'm talking about on this show, because I'm talking about it from the Celtics perspective. We'll get to the national perspective on the firing of Adrian Griffin, Terry Rozier, and a lot more. Is this the lowest point in NBA history for officiating? It's all on Locked On NBA. So check it out. Terry Rozier has gone to the Miami Heat. He's going to the Miami Heat. Charlotte gets Kyle Lowry and a protected 2027 first-round pick. So the Heat had to pay to get off of Kyle Lowry. They get Terry Rozier in exchange. Charlotte, they get the pick. Who knows what it's going to be in 2027? Honestly, that could be anything. When it comes to Miami, Miami could, at that point, who knows? I can't even predict They could win a championship in 2026, 27. Who knows? They could suck. They could be a 5-win team. I have no idea what they're going to be. But right now, it's Terry Rozier, and he fits a need. He fits a need that Miami is looking for. They got no scoring out of Kyle Lowry. You get 8 points a game. They bring in somebody averaging 23. So on the surface, it's like, yeah, they have they struggle scoring. Their offense is down near the bottom of the league, and so you pick up a pretty good score. Everybody knows Terry Rozier can fill it up. He drives, he kicks, he can play make. It's a good pickup. It's a good pickup for Kyle Lowry, and who knows what that pick. I mean, it's protected. So if they are a 5-win team, then they don't have to give it up. But we'll see what they are at that point. The problem with Miami, and this is the problem with this trade, Rozier is a nice pickup. Very similar to Pascal Siakam for the Indiana Pacers. So the Pacers pick up Pascal Siakam. He's a good fit. Is he a game changer? No. Is he going to win them a couple of games? Sure. Terry Rozier will win Miami a few games this season for sure. That's going to be something that, like, they need what he brings. Is that going to make the Heat a top 3 team? No. Are they going to challenge Boston because they got Terry Rozier now? No. Milwaukee, we'll talk about Milwaukee in a bit, but I still hold them in high regard, so no. Philly, playing well. Joel Embiid just scored 70, so no. Those are the 3 teams at the top. Everyone else is fighting for the, that 4-5. Cleveland's on a roll. They've won like 8 in a row. The Pacers, I think, got better with Siakam. And now Miami's getting better with Kyle Lowry. How much better is the question? And when it comes to if it's Celtics, Miami, well, you got a couple elements here. We know Terry Rozier he loves himself. He loves himself some Terry Rozier. He's a tough player. He's not going to back down. He's not going to back down from a challenge. But there are going to be times where I wonder if he's going to forget who he's playing next to and that he's the third guy. And I don't know, maybe they'll empower him to be more of a scorer, more of like a play like you're a number one when you got it going. Who knows? But I do have to wonder, like, will he ruffle any feathers, so to speak, when he's taking a bunch of shots and Jimmy Butler's like, hey, my turn. Or Bam Adebayo's like, hey, what about me? Don't look me off on the pick and roll. So there's some level of fitting in there that I'm curious about. Rozier is a streaky shooter, so he's not an efficient player. Even though he's having the best, like, this is one of his best shooting seasons. His effective field goal percentage is 53.5%. It's still one of his best seasons, but it's below league average. And he's generally going to be below league average when it comes to efficiency. And is that going to be like, he's going to help the Miami offense, but are there going to be games where his inefficiency kind of hurts? He's a capable defender, but he's also 6 feet tall. So when it comes to Boston has starting 2 6'4" guards. Okay. Derek White, Drew Holiday, and the Heat bringing in Rozier. Yeah, he's going to be a little bit of a pest, but is he going to be a detriment to what the Celtics are trying to do? I don't know. I don't know about that. He's still small. And the big thing is when you're small like he is, it allows the Celtics to play Peyton Pritchard in a series. And if Pritchard can be out there when Rozier is out there, because he can defend Rozier, and Rozier is not just going to rise up and just shoot over the top. I mean, look, he could probably jump higher than Pritchard, but Pritchard's right there, right? So Pritchard's not like 5'8" or anything like that. So he's right there with Terry Rozier. So he can guard him. And that's an important element, because one of the things that when you're facing the Celtics in the playoffs, it's how do you take advantage of Peyton Pritchard when he's on the floor? Well, if the Celtics can keep Rozier on the floor and keep Pritchard on the floor and keep him on Rozier, then that's going to help. That's going to help the Celtics in a series, because that gives Pritchard minutes that he can play and be effective. The more he plays, the better he is typically. And that just gives the Celtics one more guy that Joe Mazzulla trusts and can get into a playoff series. So that's my biggest fear. Now, my biggest fear for the Celtics is that Pritchard gets played off the floor, because you can game plan for him and scheme for him and all that stuff and take advantage of him being on the floor. Regular season's a little bit different, right? So Rozier helps Miami, no doubt about it. It's not a game changer to me. It's not going to move the needle to a point where I'm like, oh my God, be afraid. Except the only caveat to that is, whatever your baseline thought about a move Miami makes is, you have to be prepared for it to be about 25% better than that. Because the freaking Miami Heat, with Eric Spoelstra as a genius coach and Heat culture, always getting the absolute most out of players, it's incredible. It's like a cheat code. I'm really sick of it. But it's possible Rozier can go in, fall in line, be an efficient scorer, be an incredible defender, because he's buying into everything that they're doing, and he makes them better than you think. So I'm going to leave that in there as possible for what's going on here, right? I don't think this moves the needle to, hey, wow, Miami's going to be this great juggernaut now, and they're a threat to get to the NBA Finals again. I don't see them in that level, but I can't dismiss the possibility of a Miami team just overplaying the consensus and being like, yeah, actually, this has, for some reason, Terry Rozier has turned into Michael Jordan for 3 months, and oh, okay, well, here they are again in the Eastern Conference Finals. I can't sit there and be like, they're not going to make the Eastern Conference Finals, because on paper, I don't think they will, but they're the Miami Heat, and they do stupid things like that. They're annoying. They bother me, but that's what they do. And congratulations to Heat fans for having a team like that. Bucks fans are not happy. Haven't been happy. Milwaukee Bucks fired Adrian Griffin. What does that mean? What does that mean for the Boston Celtics? What does that mean for Milwaukee and the top of the East? We'll talk about that in just a second. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sports book. If you're looking to get into the gambling craze, this is a great time to do it at FanDuel, because new customers, if you sign up at FanDuel.com/lockedon, if you're on YouTube, it's right there at the bottom of the screen, FanDuel.com/lockedon. You sign up, you make a $5 bet on anything. You get $150 in bonus bets, guaranteed. Win or lose, doesn't matter. $150 in bonus bets just by placing a $5 bet. That's great. You're a winner right away. And maybe your $5 bet pays off and you get a little bit more to play with. Then what you do is you open up the app and you go through some really cool things, some really cool features like the Explore tab. Find something to bet on there. If you're not sure and you just want to look around and be like, oh, wow, this is interesting. I like that. I'm going to do that. It's on the Explore tab. Go to the Parlay Hub. You can make a parlay. It's the best way to find popular parlays. You can even do live same game parlays. So go check it out. FanDuel.com/lockedon. Make your first bet a layup. FanDuel is the official partner of the NFL. And as always, I'm going to encourage you to use the tools that FanDuel has in place. Set your limits, set your budget. You know you can have some fun with whatever your budget is. Set it. Let FanDuel keep that in check, and you can have some fun because you'll be gambling responsibly. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Go on over to the Locked On Sports Today channel, streaming live at any time, whenever you feel like, oh, there's nothing on TV. Boom. Locked On Sports Today. It's on 24/7. It's all the national stories, all the big stories in sports, all the time. Put it on, leave it on, Enjoy conversation, sports talk like it's supposed to be, not fake arguing because they want to do it for ratings. We are giving you sports talk because we love to talk sports. That's what the Locked On Podcast Network is. So go relive the glory days of just pure sports talk on the Locked On Sports Today 24/7 streaming channel. The Milwaukee Bucks fired Adrian Griffin. He coached 43 games. I don't know how much money they paid him, but he's getting paid a lot of money to not coach anymore. 43 games in, the Milwaukee Bucks said, nope, not working. Apparently the Bucks players have had enough. They've tuned him out. They have no confidence in him. And that's incredible that it happened this way. I saw a report that Giannis co-signed on playing for Adrian Griffin because he didn't want to play for Nick Nurse. And so Nick Nurse went to Philly. That's going all right in Philly, but he didn't want to play for Nick Nurse for whatever reason. I don't know. But that, if the reporting is true, I don't know if the reporting is true, but that's the report. And if that's the case, and he was like, no, just Adrian, anybody but Nick Nurse. So let's give Adrian Griffin a shot. The red flags were there early on. Terry Stotts, who was supposed to be like this buffer, who was, when they traded for Damian Lillard, it's like, great, you got Terry Stotts here. He knows Dame, whatever's going on, whatever tough time he's having, Stotts can talk to him. Stotts knows what he likes. This is great. Well, right before the regular season, Stotts quits. That's a big red flag. Then I was at the game when the Celtics were in Boston, and Giannis didn't want to come out of the game. But Adrian Griffin had Bobby Portis at the scorer's table and was taking Giannis out. Giannis kept waving him off. He was going up the floor, and he saw it, and he was like, no. And Bobby Portis, I remember vividly, Portis was like, when the horn blew, he just stayed there. And Griffin had to push Bobby Portis onto the floor. Giannis sits down at the scorer's table and never goes to the bench. Sits there. They have a conversation. It's a little, animated. And Giannis checks right back in for Brook Lopez. So that was a red flag. And I didn't make much of it because I was like, they'll just get past it. Some early season, just hiccups you got to work through. Well, it didn't get any better. Then you had that rant recently from Giannis where it's like, we got to be better. Everybody's got to be better. The equipment manager's got to wash our clothes better. Like everybody in the organization, he just laid into everyone. Well, that seemed to be the final straw, basically. The defense has been bad and it hasn't really gotten better all season. And so they canned Adrian Griffin, and now they might be going to Doc Rivers. Well, what does this mean for Boston? Well, turmoil for your next closest competitor and a team that you expect to see in the conference finals is good. Turmoil right now is good because right now all they have is just kind of who's available. And Doc is look, he's like the like you're bringing the patient into the emergency room and Doc is there to stabilize the patient. Is Doc going to be the long-term coach? I don't know. But if he comes in, because I haven't seen anything, maybe by the time this comes out, it'll be official. But if he comes in and takes over, I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe they hire him full-time. I don't know. But he'll stabilize things. Players respect Doc for the most part. They listen to him. He's won a championship. He's a former player. He knows what he's talking about. He's coached some of the toughest personalities. He knows how to navigate the NBA. That's fine. So that he'll calm things down, and we'll see where he gets the defense. And that's the biggest thing. He'll calm things down, and the Bucks will have a coach that they can trust. And maybe they don't struggle with Detroit, and they don't struggle with San Antonio. They won those games, but they had tough losses. They lost to Houston. They lost to Utah. These are tough games. their defense was 27th in January. And you think about that big blowout where the Celtics couldn't score any of that. That blowout is included in in Milwaukee's 27th ranked defense. So I don't know that the Bucks are going to fix much. I think what they need to do is make a move of some kind, but I don't know what move they can make. They're in a tough spot. They can't even like go get Marcus Smart from Memphis, or maybe they can, but I haven't even looked at their numbers, their salary numbers. I don't even know if they can do it financially. But let's say they could. Smart's hurt. He's out for another month. Is that your answer? A guy who's not going to come back and play for you until like maybe March? That's not great. The biggest thing that they have to fix is their defense. And I don't know if they're going to get Malik Beasley or Damian Lillard to play to play any defense over there, because it's a mess. It's a mess, and I think the problem is more of a player situation, a team construction situation. They haven't really put a team together that's based on defense, that thrives on defense, that wants to play defense. This is a team that's offense first. They've built a team. They made their decision. I wonder if there's regret in Milwaukee. Is there regret? First of all, if you fire Adrian Griffin and you're bringing in Doc, why couldn't you just kept Mike Budenholzer? Was that relationship so tough to repair? And secondly, getting Dame, sure, that's won you some games for sure. But is it worth the defensive hit, giving up Holiday? How much different would it be with Holiday there and instead of Damian Lillard? How much different would that be? I don't know. I think it's fair to say that there's potentially some regret in Milwaukee. This is a desperate move, man. This is a desperate move. You don't just fire your coach 43 games into a tenure. You don't do it. This is the team had to completely lose faith in him. And that's incredible to have happen in just 43 games. It's January 23rd. I'm recording this on January 23rd. To have the team quit starting like September, October, November, December, January. 4 months. 4 months. And they've already lost complete confidence in the guy? I don't know that any coach is going to fix that. There's still going to be a good team because Giannis is amazing and Dame's going to hit some shots and he can be, he's still an elite scorer. But they're going to have to lean into the scoring, and they're going to have to figure out some creative zone defense or something to get by. They're going to have to figure something out. And if they don't, they're not going to get that far, which is great news for Boston because that's a team that I was afraid of. And right now, I'm less afraid of them. It's starting to get to a point where Boston is in a class by itself at the top of the East. Do you put Milwaukee up there at this point? No. Philly? Maybe, but I don't trust Philly. So I hesitate to put them up there. And then after that, everybody's fighting for 4th, 5th, 6th, right? So Boston is in a class by itself. And these moves, Miami gets themselves better. Milwaukee is just looks shaky. I don't know how that's going to work out. But Boston is in a great spot. And these moves don't threaten that spot at all. Back tomorrow with another great show. I hope it's a great show. It'll be a great show. I have confidence in myself. I have confidence that this will be a great show. It's a Monday through Friday show. I got you covered. every day of the week, plus bonus podcasts like this Saturday when they play the Clippers, bonus podcast after that. So make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcast. So when I drop it, it shows right up on your device. Get onto that YouTube page. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what your feelings are on that Miami move, on that Bucks move. Tell me what you think. Let me know. You everydayers, I would love it if you shared the podcast. Tell your friends, tell everybody that they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.